Live.
Hello and welcome to the 6th ever Moonter View. Today we will be going for 10 hours.
Oh,
Isn't
shit.
that right, RHMax? You're
Is that
now
what I
committed
signed
to
up
it.
for? It is number 6. It's a special number, 369. So I guess if your number 3 went on for 5 hours, your number 6 goes on for 10 hours. Your number 9, I feel sorry for them, 20 hours. That's rough. It's rough.
That's right. But anyway, thanks for coming on, RHMax. So I'm sure, well, hopefully everyone knows about RHMax. If you don't, I've been on his channel a few times. He's been kind enough to invite me on, which is really awesome. He is a former security engineer. It's the proper terminology, I suppose. Developer person, right? He's very smart on blockchain. He's very smart with security, not just crypto security, but in general. And he is a super hardcore streamer. Like he does a ton. Lots of streams with lots of people, lots of clips, lots of shorts. So I really respect the work ethic. And he is somewhat of an inspiration with all the work he does.
Thank you.
So yeah, without further ado, I welcome RHMax to the Moonter View.
What's happening, man? Good to be here at the Moon Review. You know, we like to say we shoot for the stars here at hex.com, but worst case, we end up on the moon or Mars or Pluto, the used to be planet thing. So I'm excited to be here. And yeah, I think we got a pretty cool lineup of stuff to talk about. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yes, it's my pleasure. And I believe I linked your blog in the description. I think I put all the links that I saw from one of your videos. I took all your links and put them down below so people can go check out. Go follow you on everything. Go follow RHMax. If you aren't somehow, but you are subscribed to me, definitely go subscribe to him. But yeah, so the Moonter View, as you may or may not know, is just kind of like a casual conversation. So we can kind of start with whatever, but one thing I ask everyone, which I'm sure you've had this question like a million times, is how did you discover Richard Heart? And I think you were like before Hex even was created, you knew him, right?
Yeah, it's let's see, I think early 2017, if my memory serves me correctly, is when I found Richard, and way before Hex. Yeah, Hex was December 2nd, 2019. So I was at a party, and a friend of mine there was like, hey, you know, he like one of a few friends of mine in real life that actually into crypto in some form or fashion. He was like, hey, have you heard of Richard Heart? He you know, he's this guy, he's this crypto guy, and Bitcoin maximalist, and he keeps you know, saying all this stuff about Ethereum being bad. And at the time, I just got into crypto 2016, maybe mid 2016 or so, and I was like, yeah, it's Ethereum seems fine. You know, it's world computer stuff. Like, what's, you know, smart contracts? It does a bunch of stuff Bitcoin doesn't do. What's wrong with this thing? So I went to his channel, started going through his videos, found his self-help stuff. I'm like, man, this guy's super smart, not just in crypto, but in life. So it was just perfect timing for me because I was looking for someone to learn crypto from. You know, I'd already started, as most people's origin stories, in degen shitcoinery, and just can't sleep, you know, waking up at 4 a.m. Because I got, you know, I write some scripts to tell me when prices are going up or down. And so I like know when to make these trades and all that stuff. So for me, it was just perfect timing to find somebody who made sense, who was like very interesting about his approach to life, very successful, someone with a track record of you know, being right a lot. And man, he was right a lot after that too. So yeah, his mission, his whole deal was just super attractive and to me. And I kind of went through this health, wealth, wisdom journey, as I just kind of fringe refer to it as, and it's just been instrumental and just like literally changed my life a lot. Like changed the way I think about stuff. No longer an NPC, and it's been great. Just, you know, seeing him, see his progression over the last 6 years, and man, I've never been higher on Richard Heart stock. This guy's going to the moon. He's on top right now. He's already in outer space. So yeah, that's my RH story through the thick and thin. You know, the 2017 bear market, or 2018, 2017, 2018, hit the top, went down. It was terrible. Kind of went in and out of crypto a little bit. I was paying attention. I was still watching RH streams and stuff, but I was a little bit more disconnected, except for the Hex stuff. That's when he started talking about, oh, we're going to do Well, first it was CFD token, then it was hex.win, or first it was Bitcoin hex, and then hex.win, and then go.hex.com. And yeah, followed him the whole way there. And I never was active in the community though. Like I guess that's the unique thing. One of the unique things about like my story is I just started being like active on Twitter just over a year ago, and active on YouTube. Just started streaming. It's been about almost a year now. So I'd been around so long, and I've known, I've watched Richard for so long and watched people in the community, but I never really interacted. I was just kind of like lurking and trying to figure stuff out. So then I was like, Richard says you should have utility. I want to help this ecosystem grow. I want to contribute. I have security skills. I have, tech skills. I have like this ability to dissect and deep dive and figure things out. And I love the game theory and all that stuff. So let me try it out. So started streaming and started putting in the work, started being consistent. And again, I reserve the right at any moment to go to an island and never talk to anyone again. But until then, I'll be here trying to help everyone figure this stuff out.
Nice, man. Well, that's pretty awesome. That is funny. I do feel like people fall into this thing where they think like everyone who knows Richard Heart and is in Hex is like on Twitter and being loud and on YouTube or whatever. But there definitely are probably a lot of, I don't know, early Hexicans who just aren't even, maybe they lurk around with like a 30 follower profile, or like they just aren't even on and they're like, whatever. So it's interesting.
Yeah, but, it's like people talk about OGs and stuff, and I'm like, I was in Hex day one. I was following Richard way before then, but I have this like nobody doesn't even know who I was except the last year. So it's just one of those funny little nuanced things.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. I was definitely not as early as you, but I remember like being around kind of, and I was kind of focused on other coins, but I was kind of stumbled into Hex, and I remember seeing all these people super early on. Like I remember David Feeder's like his appreciation video, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I was like, guess I missed this Hex thing. I was like, looks like it just went to the moon without me. So
don't worry, we came back to Earth for a little bit to pick some more people up. So we got you. We got you.
Yeah. So was your first impression of Richard Heart like, oh, this guy's really smart? Or were you first like, oh, this is a little weird, this guy's like in a top hat? And
I don't think I've ever been weirded out by the top hat, honestly. I just thought, hey, he's like dressing up because this is funny. It's like his like style. He's this rich guy who has all these things he wants to talk about, so he dresses up to do it. I don't know, like RG3 dressed up like a pirate and he did all that stuff. So not that crazy, I guess. But that never, I'm trying to think, did that ever, like what conversation did I have about that being strange? I don't think so. I think I was just so interested in what he had to say. I didn't even think about the magician look and all that stuff. I know a lot of people, funny enough, the friend who this all started with, who I'm still friends with today, he was, or maybe not him, another friend of mine who knows about this because I've blasted him with it so many times. He's allowed me to. He was like, that kind of turns me off. When I wish Richard would change his profile pic. He looks like a scammer, magician. Those two things aren't a display of reputability and all that. And eventually he did. And, now he's in the circle of all the kids, and he's in the middle and all that stuff too. But funny enough, that never bothered me. I don't think anything has ever really. I'm trying to think like what is. I mean, definitely, I don't agree with everything he's ever said. There's a few things where I'm like, I understand why you're saying it, but that's not quite like the way it works. But again, everyone's like, they complain about Richard, this and that. Oh, he's lying. He's so bad at estimates. He's all this stuff, and it's like, no. What does it matter? What does any of that matter? What does it matter? PulseChain doesn't launch for another 6 months. Who cares? When it launches, it's like all the people who get stuck in that, they don't actually believe. Like if you actually believe this is a game changer, this is life-changing wealth, this is ability to have a fair, honest crypto that you can get into early, and you're going to benefit from it the rest of your life if you make the right decisions with it, you don't care how long it takes. So if you do care, that means you don't believe enough, and you may not be making the right decisions around that. So for me, I mean, is it frustrating that it's taken so long? Sure, but it's I don't know how that could bother people enough to like either leave the community or just, go nuts on Twitter or whatever happens from time to time. It's just kind of interesting to me, where you see the psychological breakdown of what people say, what they put out there, how they can just flip and change their mind, the lack of loyalty, I guess. And I've never met the guy in real life, and I'm the RHMaximalist though. So that's how powerful his ideals are to me. I'm just like, yeah, I'm here, man. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm here for the glory. Let's do it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you spoke about like the NPC brain. I think I just getting into crypto and definitely listening to people like we talked about Naval and Richard Heart too has helped me kind of become more of a free thinker. But I remember being in the Telegram and Richard Heart saying these words that in my brain were like, oh, if you say those words, you're going to get canceled, and you should never, no one should ever say those words. And him just someone asking a stupid question, him coming in and just like berating him. And I was like, is that like the guy? I was like, that's the actual founder of this thing. I was like, this doesn't seem like something, like how could this do well if the founder is like speaking like this publicly? So I think I kind of fell into that trap, and I didn't watch a lot of his early videos. I would just kind of watch what he was doing. But the thing that got me into Hex though, then, which I didn't do a ton, but it was just my gut feeling was like, okay, there's all these people that are so passionate about this thing, like there's something here, and I kind of got the long-term stuff. I got the long-term idea. I didn't know what a t-shirt was, and I just felt like I was on the outside of this like awesome club because people weren't very warm to questions, I don't think. And like I'd ask a question and be like, it's on the website, and I'd be like, I read the website and I didn't understand, and then like no one would answer. I'd be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just stupid. And then also
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Then like Altcoin Daily had that video, and that I was like, oh well, Altcoin Daily says this, and like everyone seems to think this thing is weird, but I was like, but everyone's so passionate about it, like this is so weird. But yeah, it was Richard Hart's early videos definitely changed the way I think about life and see life, and it definitely helped me a ton.
I was just gonna say on that, like if you're having doubts about Richard and the products and stuff like that, I try to do this myself. I try to take an hour, at least every year. Every year I try to take 1 hour, go through the playlist of, Fix the World, go through the whatever other playlist there is. It's about an hour worth of content to watch all the videos, maybe 10 to 15 videos. Watch that. And then like give yourself that chance, give yourself that opportunity, watch that content and see if you don't believe in like what he's talking about, and see if you don't understand why he behaves the way he does and stuff. Like that's like the best source of information you could possibly give yourself if you want to have a chance in this ecosystem. If you have your doubts, that's the first thing I watched, and I never had any doubts after that.
Yeah. So I went to college, and I believe I got like,
congratulations.
Kind of, yes, I was waiting for that. I got like kind of psyoped in a way.
Okay.
And Naval first, listening to Naval, and then Richard Heart like unwound the psyop, where I was like, oh yeah, like stuff is actually like pretty simple, and like it's weird how like things are made way more complicated than they are. And I think a lot of Richard Hart's videos are so straight up, like the early ones, where he talks about just life and I don't know, relationships. And that video, like you said, I think this is one you said inspired you, where he's like, it's one that inspired me, was he says, the stupidest people are often the loudest. And so we need more smart people who are nervous to just speak up. Otherwise the stupid people are just going to scream and run everything. And he's like, if you ever go to a room of smart people, no one's really like certain, like yelling with certainty, or like, trying to boss people around or whatever. Everyone's kind of like unsure. And so that kind of stuck with me, where I was like, oh, like interesting. Cause I think I have this fear sometimes of like not being correct, or like, oh, I'm not smart enough, or, oh, I'm not good. But like, we actually need more people like that to kind of just come out, like open-minded people who aren't like totally stupid.
Yeah. I think if you are consuming Naval and you're consuming Richard, like that's from my own personal experience, I've consumed their content, both those guys' content, more than any other two people in the last 3 years, I would say. And it's helped me tremendously just to, like you said, just make the world simpler. Like just figure these things out, think from first principles, take feedback from reality, not society, all that stuff. So it really, I was clipping some more because I can't stop clipping vintage RH stuff. Clipping some more today, and I came across another Jim, and he was just talking about like, if you consume the wrong content, you're not going to get, people say, oh, do your own research. You got to do your own research. That's the key. If you're I don't want to say if you're an idiot, but like if you're not doing good research, if you're not able to like put the facts together in a way that actually makes sense with reality and not just fits your confirmation bias or fits whatever narrative you want it to fit, if you are not capable of doing it, or you're not following the right people, you may be following a lot of really smart people who are just into something that's going to go nowhere. It doesn't matter how much research you do, your conclusion is not going to be one that's going to make you successful. So that's what's so amazing about this ecosystem is, and the reason I'm clearly okay staying within it, and I pigeonhole myself on purpose because I don't care about anything else. I want this to be the successful ecosystem. Once you're in here and you see the products and you listen to Richard and you see a lot of the people, not everyone, but a lot of the people in the community talking about these healthy ideals that just make you better in every vertical in your life, not just outside of crypto as well. That's the research. That's the place to be. And we just can't get that. It's very hard to get that in crypto. Like 95 to 98% of ecosystems, they're not teaching you healthy ideals. I think, of course I'm biased, but it's like, I think this one has the largest accumulation of people who understand the world in a way that makes sense and helps you be the best version of yourself that I've ever came across, even before I was full in the RH ecosystem.
Nice. I think that goes really well into our next question. You're thinking of the community and how a lot of people this community is so different. There's a lot of good advice, not just crypto related, a lot of, I think, kind-hearted people. What are your thoughts on the potential of Hex for the future? Not just like price, but if Hex did gain this like crazy adoption, how would it have like a societal and cultural effect, like just over the long term? Like, what do you think? Do you think this could spread like this good vibes, I guess you could describe it as?
Yeah, I'd first maybe reframe I'll frame my answer in the sense of, I'm not sure Hex is going to be adopted globally by every citizen of every country.
Right.
I think it's there's just too many people who just never get it. There's too many people who never get crypto, let alone get something like Hex. So I think by the time everyone gets crypto and buys into any kind of healthy ecosystem like that, we may be old men by that time, and the mad gains may be gone and all that stuff, or there'll be like this totally new system that we haven't even thought of yet. That's like, instead of monkey JPEGs, they're like, I don't know, you got to like laser across the world to farm these tokens. I don't know, just like some crazy stuff we haven't imagined yet. Maybe we have teleportation. Who knows?
The crab people.
Yeah, the crab people. Yes, it's going to be insane. So I think it kind of reminds me of like the answer on how do we know there's not aliens? It's like, well, if there are aliens, why would we be so arrogant to think we would even be able to detect them? Like, why wouldn't they be on some other wavelength that our eyes can't even see? They're probably here right now, just like talking behind our back or something. That's more likely than us, like, never figuring it out or whatever. Anyways, so I think but let's say, we get to, I don't know, 1 million holders, 10 million holders, like that kind of territory, 50 million holders. We got people staking. The average stake length goes up to 10 years, just different stuff like that. I think that the ideals, and again, Maximalist first for Richard's ideals, and this products kind of feed from that. The ability to help people focus on delayed gratification, focus on not giving their keys to centralized exchanges that'll just lose them, and all this other centralized yield stuff, which I don't know, may be banned in the future anyways. I don't have to worry about it. It may just be true DeFi naturally after we'll see what the legislation does. But I think all the community, like you said, the one thing that attracted you is just the passionate people who are just, you couldn't. I think that's something that's very interesting too. It was something you couldn't ignore, right? It's like when you had your doubts, but you saw the people so passionate about it, all the products being built around it, founders doing live streams all the time. We wish you did now, but that's fine. You just can't ignore it. I think that's what makes a good product in general. It's either solves some problem for you or is so good and so popular that you can't ignore it. You have to use it. It just makes sense for you to use it in one way, shape, or form. So the way it's designed, fair system, bigger pays better, longer pays better. You lock it up, you earn more. It's the virality component that makes it so easy to talk about. I know you don't have to get all the technicals to understand that if you lock up more, you get paid more, all that stuff. You don't have to worry about losing it as long as you don't lose your keys to your own wallet. It empowers you to be your own bank and hold yourself accountable. Mercy and staking. There's this whole psychological dynamic that just makes it just ticks all the boxes. It really is. There's no perfect crypto, but it is one of the few that has is like the best, worst, or the best. They say capitalism or democracy isn't the best system, but it's like the least worst system. Hex is like the least worst crypto. It's like it has so few trade-offs and flaws that you just want to do it because it's that good.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good answer. So I guess we'll move on into kind of, why did you start making content and why? But I feel like you've kind of answered this, I don't know, in the previous questions, but maybe if you want to elaborate.
Yeah. I started, I'll just go back to, Richard's like, I was thinking, I think at the time I really was thinking, how can I have more utility? Like, how can I give back? Hex has already given me so much. Richard's already given me so much by, me following a lot of his advice and his ideals and learning from him, all that free sci-fi, reading the books. And, I do a lot of content around the books and stuff these days too. I felt like I needed to give back in some way. And I just happened to remember, it always stuck with me, these live streams of people asking, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? And he's like, have utility, go whatever you're good at, go do that. And, do it for the community, use whatever unique skills you have or acquire such unique skills and go apply them and go help the community in whatever way you can. And me having, a particular set of skills, especially with security, with, technology, being in big tech for a long time, I can understand this stuff. I can kind of disseminate information. I have fairly good writing skills. That's why I have a blog and I'm able to publish information and really test stuff and synthesize it down to a level that makes it easy as possible to understand. I really get enjoyment from that, helping people like really complex topics by like breaking down it in steps and showing the nuance and showing the background, the basics, and all that stuff. So that's why I started making content, and I wanted to improve myself. So I wanted to become a better interviewer. I thought, Lex Friedman, for example, Joe Rogan, those were kind of inspirations of like, oh, these are like, I love long form content. I love listening to them. I love the clips they would do. So literally when I started streaming, I was like, I don't want to make these pre-made videos. I know that's like the YouTube thing to do. I don't want to be a YouTuber. I just want to be like a creator. So what is the most frictionless way I can do that? Well, I can just interview people and then I can talk about interesting stuff that's worthy of clipping. And then I can just learn how to use, these programs that clip stuff. And then I'll publish the clips. And then that went, that took me down this whole rabbit hole of, okay, how do I schedule them? Now I got to learn to make thumbnails, all that stuff. But I really wanted to be a better interviewer. And I wanted to learn more about the projects myself that were happening in the ecosystem that were good for Hex. And I feel like that's one of the thing I didn't expect to get. Richard talks about like, oh, there's all these things that happened from creating Hex that he didn't expect, people using all these interesting ways and it forming such a big community and all this stuff. For me, what I got from streaming that I didn't expect was I realized this is giving me access to people. Like if people, if I'm able to produce valuable enough content where people like the content and people want to come on the show who are building these products or are experts in some area, if they want to come on the show because they know they'll get distribution, they know that they'll have an interesting conversation, they know I'll ask good questions, then and I can get access to them. I can ask them questions I'm wondering about. I can learn more about the products. I can understand liquidity providing better. I can understand stablecoins better. So it's just this, I didn't even think of that until it started happening. I was like, wow, these streams are so exhausting to do after you prep for them and you do them. And, you really get into the technical side, but I'm learning so much myself. And I can tell, me from a year ago to now, it's just, I've just exponentially got so much more information about these different crypto products and different nuance around the ecosystem and how this stuff works that I never could have got before had I not started talking to people for hours about the stuff like that. So that was motivation for doing it. And then I think another thing that was interesting was when I first started doing it, especially, I don't think people, I don't know, maybe it's just me thinking it, or maybe it didn't happen or not. Nobody actually directly told me if you're an RHMax, you're gonna, you're gonna suck. You're just gonna alienate people. Nobody actually directly told me that, but I always got the sense that people were a little hesitant to talk to me, or a little, they thought maybe I was closed-minded, or they thought that, I was just here to be a cheerleader for Richard or something, no matter what, all that stuff. I was like, I don't think that's what it's about. For me, that's not what it's about. It's his ideals, his products, all that stuff. And can I do it in a way I can still talk to other communities? I can still talk to people who are building stuff that, isn't directly related or whatever. It's just interesting and informational. And I can talk to people about psychology, longevity, all the stuff, Richard's broader ideals more than crypto. I can do that in a way that's not toxic. It's going to make people feel like, whoa, this is a healthy brand of maximalism. It's like, hey, this guy just likes Richard, his ideals, and he wants to promote stuff that he likes. And so to me, that was kind of a challenge of like, can I take this brand of being a maxi and can I make it into something that is like, cool and healthy and educational, valuetainment? Like, can I make people interested in this? And if they see me being successful with it, maybe that'll encourage them. Hey, they can be, an RH Maxi too. And it doesn't have to have that negative connotation that it might have had before. So that was the third thing. I'll cover one other thing that I think is interesting. Another unique thing about my product, I guess, that I put out is I don't monetize. So I don't run this as a business. I don't want to make money. I don't want anyone's money. I literally don't even want to sell swag because I don't want to have any kind of like taintedness of like taking money from people. I would rather just give you a t-shirt. I'd give you a hat or whatever. And I did that at conferences. I do that at local meetups too. And when I created the channel, again, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I didn't go into it of, hey, this is a good way to make some extra cash. I went into it thinking, I want to, like, again, learn about the ecosystem, get better interviewing, and promote the products and ideals I think are awesome. So I went into it thinking, I don't want to do ads. I want it to be as ad-free as possible. And I know it's like, I've had people tell me, hey, you're going to grow slower. You could, if you did sponsorships, or I get emails, pretty much weekly from some crypto company or whatever, want me to do stuff. And people, even in the chat, they're like, well, I want to super chat you. Why can't I super chat you? I'm like, I'm sorry. I just don't want to do it. It's just part of my principles. I don't want your money. I want to be, the greatest man I can possibly be, self-made. And if you truly believe that the RH ecosystem can do all these X's and you can get in early and you can make your own money, you don't need to survive on income anyways. If you believe you can just make it investing, not trading, but make it investing. And that's not anyone out there who does ads and monetization or whatever. I have nothing against you. You do whatever you want. Just for me, it just logically makes sense. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a creator. Happens to be on YouTube. And I don't need the income. I have income already. I have my investments. And to me, it just makes it cleaner. It makes me feel like I can keep the show with better integrity. It makes me feel like people can trust the content more because they know nobody's paying behind the scenes or even covertly or overtly. And it just makes me feel like I can produce a cleaner product without having any strings attached one way or another. So I think that's one unique thing about the content too, is I literally choose not to monetize, and I go out of my way to not take money from people as much as I can.
Nice. Yeah. I know what you mean with the RH Maxi thing. I do think that was like, people were saying, "Oh, these toxic Richard Heart Maximalists," because people weren't promoting certain things or whatever. And I guess there are some people who are very passionate about Hex and they just attack anyone. Saying it did get kind of a toxic label maybe for that kind of thing.
Especially in the early days. I feel like people wouldn't even talk to me. They wouldn't DM me back or anything. And I was like, is it because it's a Maxi thing? Like, can you just watch some of my content and know that I'm not, it's not the way you're thinking it is? It was interesting, that especially when I first started streaming.
Yeah. And then the monetization is pretty cool. That's pretty noble and awesome. And I enjoy it because I get really annoyed watching ads on YouTube. And so I don't monetize my channel, but it was because I was like, well, I get annoyed when other channels have ads, so I'm not going to have ads.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't like ads. They think they destroy the experience. They destroy the flow of information. Why would I want anything? I mean, obviously, even if you don't monetize, they're going to play ads anyways if you don't have YouTube Premium or some other blocker stuff on. But at least that's not on me. I have nothing to do with that. I can at least say it's cleaner that way.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. Like, Richard Heart doesn't have ads on his channel, and it kind of speaks to like no one's. I guess in some ways your speech is a little bit policed by YouTube, and what you can show is a little bit policed. Like so I like, what am I going to do? What am I going to get? Like $10 a video or something if I monetize?
Let's say you're getting $100 a video. Like, do you want to have those handcuffs? Do you want that to be your job? Do you want to have responsibilities to YouTube?
The fun of the two.
You want to never curse, I don't know, like whatever rules. You want to never talk about zombie virus. You never talk about like whatever. I'm in this for more freedom. So to me, it just makes sense. Why would I sign up for something, even if they were paying me decent money? I don't need it. So like, why would I sign up to give myself less freedom? I'm working towards like more freedom, optimize towards more freedom, not less freedom.
Yeah. And I've heard someone commented on when I said I wasn't going to monetize, and they said, well, if you monetize, your message will go out to more people and you can like help more people. But I'm still in the camp of agreement with you, where like I just enjoy not having ads.
But
so
that's
just click and watch.
But like, that's the same thing as saying, oh, I'm going to claim this airdrop, or I'm going to buy this other coin, and then when it goes up, I'm going to sell it and buy Hex. Like, that's
right.
That's a cool story. I get it. But does it actually happen, or do you end up like just degen coinery? Like, does it just degen into that? Like, most of the time, you're going to see your influencer talk about it. Oh my God, I got to get some more of this, and become the airdrop is just a carrot, and now you're in. Now you're promoting them. Now you can't stop tweeting about them. Now you got to tell everyone about them because it's the new airdrop, and you think you're going to be a whale, so you're going to but you're going to turn into Hex eventually, maybe. So that's the trade-off. Like, I acknowledge it's not like I'm naive, and neither are you, obviously. It's like we understand the trade-offs. Like, I get it. It's just everyone picks their brand. Everyone's able to put together the system that they want to do, the product they want to put out, and mine just involves no monetization. And I don't want to deviate from that. Not maybe in the future I will, but like currently I don't need to.
You're such a jerk, dude.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Like, you could take that money YouTube is paying you, and you could go buy more Hex with it. You could take that money and go support SINS Foundation longevity research. Like you could just come up with all these things, and it's like, or I could just have a really, really clean brand and not do any of that, and then make all my money in crypto, and then maybe go do all those wonderful things. So there's that.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, and I guess that's the answer to how you pump out so much content at a consistent pace. Do you outsource any of your stuff, or it's all you? And you don't have to answer, I guess, if you don't want to.
Oh, it's a good question. So, I mean, just because I don't monetize doesn't mean I don't spend. Funny enough, I lose a lot of money streaming. I do spend money to automate some things and outsource it when I can. I mean, it goes that Naval quote, like, what is the quote about? Only do things. Basically, it's like, only do things you want to do. Outsource everything else. Like, spend your time earning, learning, or relaxing, and outsource everything else. I think that's the quote, and that is so true and meaningful to me. And so I do all my thumbnails pretty much. I mean, like 98%. Every once in a while, somebody else will help me out with it, but I pretty much do all my thumbnails these days. All the clips, I do them because you can't just hire somebody to do them unless they have crypto nuance. And then for me, it's like, if I just do them right after the stream, I could just bing, bing, get it done. I don't have to worry about it. And then let's see what else. On the shorts, I did get some people to help with the shorts that I released, like the 116 or so shorts that Furu put on the Telegram group for the YouTube Shorts deal that people can use for free, that I've scheduled, and I've got tons and tons of hits out of, or views on YouTube already and TikTok. Every once in a while, like memes, like I get people to help with memes sometimes I do them, but a lot of them come from other people. What else? I think that's just here and there when I need something. Fiverr is really good if you need something. There's like people on there. If you get to know really good people who do good work and deliver on time and don't jerk you around, then you can find good people who do work for pretty cheap. As long as you set yourself up with a budget, if you're going to do that, like don't go overboard unless you got the extra. But most part. So I would say all the YouTube stuff I do. I would say almost 100% of YouTube stuff, and then except like the shorts, I outsource some of those, and then TikTok and Instagram have gotten deprioritized lately. I did have a social media manager managing those, but I basically got tired of paying them because I was like, where is this taking me? Yeah, I've got like, a bunch of followers and stuff since a lot of content's put out and engagement, but it's not worth, like I got to go write all the captions, and it's just taking a lot of my time too. So if you guys can't do everything, which they don't have crypto nuance, so they can't, it was just taking a lot of my time. So I kind of paused that. They may come back later, and I've got a ton of shorts for them to post. But yeah, I do, at least on YouTube, I do almost everything. And I really got it down to a frictionless process. Like, it's not easy, but essentially, I stream, and then during the stream, I try to take notes of like, when I hear somebody, if there's a topic or conversation or question that comes up, either prompted by me or prompted by the chat, I have a notepad. I like write it down if I can while trying to still pay attention. And then at the end, that helps me, at this timestamp. And at the end, I throw an editor. I go there, just clip the ranges. I don't do any fancy editing. I just literally range clipping from here to here. That's it. And then come up with a good title and then upload them. And the next morning, again, you got to be, if you just do that and you clip a bunch and then you don't see it to completion, you're just getting a lot of technical debt. You're just like adding up a bunch of work, and you're going to get, inertia is going to kick in. You're just not going to want to do it. So the next morning, usually I'll do all the thumbnails and all the scheduling. And if it's evergreen content, for example, what is a stablecoin? If that's the question and I get a really good explanation, I clip it, then I could post that in a month or two. That's not going to change anytime soon. But if it's, latest PulseChain V4 update, then okay, that's going to go out tomorrow, or it's got to go out in a day or two, like whenever it's not going to get stale. And funny enough, every once in a while, I've did like thousands of clips. Well, I guess over 1,000, I would say. And there's only been maybe a handful of situations where I've scheduled it and then something has changed. For example, what was it? Poly, when the Poly bug happened, and it wasn't really a bug. It was just like the next best situation happened. It went from holding a basket of HSIs to a big Hedron trusted pulled stake. It went to that, so it was fine. But when it happened, I had scheduled out the explanation of Poly or some conversation around Poly, and I forgot that it had changed. So when the clip came out, somebody commented like, "Hey, this is the old explanation. It's not like that." And I'm like, "Oh crap! Now I gotta delete the clip, or I have to like update in the title, like, this has changed or something like that." So there's a little like tiny situations that happen, but 99% of the time I get it correct. I get it like, okay, this is evergreen. I can push it out a month or two. And then I end up getting content. I could theoretically take a vacation for a couple months. Like right now, I've got May almost filled up every day with content, at least one clip. So yeah, it's like I'm in love with compound interest. I like to like get it done now, be very proactive, get it done now. And then later on, I can sit pretty if I want to. Ends up not happening though. Ends up, I just keep going and I just keep getting months and months ahead of myself, and having to release like 4 clips in a day for a week because I've got so much extra content backfilled. So that's like the good problem to have. Like you want good problems, right? You don't want the problem of, I don't have anything to post today or post this week. You want the problem of, I have too many clips. Crap, how am I going to do this without annoying everyone for their whole feed being my stuff? You know, like you want those kind of problems. So
wow, that's pretty crazy.
That's my process.
That's a lot of good ideas. That's definitely helpful for me, because I kind of struggle doing the clips, but having them stacked up ahead of time and labeling them as evergreen is like I can post this whenever. And the taking notes thing, that's huge. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to try and start doing.
It's not easy because you want to, because I really want to be plugged in. So sometimes I just don't, because I'm like, if it's some technical concept where I'm like, I need to understand this. If I'm going to ask better questions or I'm going to make some actions based on this information, I just can't take notes. I just got to, you know, it's going to take me extra time clipping. I got to find where my mouth is moving, their mouth is moving, figure out what the topic is, whatever, I can do it. But it is very, very, that's why when I do streams, especially technical deep dives, you see me like after the stream, I mean, you don't see me, but like I'm tired, man. I'm like, my brain's been going back and forth. I'm trying to ask good questions. I've been taking notes. I've been talking to the chat, you know. Then you get 150 people in the chat and it's like, oh, I just can't do it. I just can't get everyone's question today. I'm sorry. That's like another thing I try to do too, just people out there streaming, is if you can talk to the chat like as much as you can without being distracting. You don't have to post every single comment, but if you try to answer people's questions, because I know when I go to a stream and you know, I post a question or a comment and you get acknowledged, psychologically, like people are going to just like you more. They're going to be like, when I come to that person's stream, they acknowledge me. So I'm going to keep coming to their stream, right? Much more likely. But if you do a stream and people are posting questions and stuff, or like really good comments that you don't even acknowledge, you're not encouraging them to come back. You're not encouraging them to like interact or, you know, be any kind of fan of your content or support your work, because they come here and they say stuff and you don't even talk to them. So I know it's not easy, but I think that's the easiest thing you can do as a streamer to like get engagement, is just talk to the chat as much as possible. Again, if you got 150 people in there and chat scrolling by, you just can't do it. And I tell chat, I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't get to your questions today. But I try my best to get to everyone's questions, at least the relevant ones that aren't just like weird FUD or something. And I think that's helped a lot.
Well, the chat today sucks. I hate all of you. No, just kidding. Definitely
don't subscribe, chat. You don't deserve.
Definitely appreciate everyone in the chat
rags
today.
to riches approach.
Regulars and Hod Prill. Nice to see Hod Prill, Ballet Brand, some OGs. Ballet Brand also makes some content. So
yeah, shout out to Hod
I'm just
Prill.
gonna name everyone in the chat now. Top 5 crypto military vet, Fox Moldar, Chris said some nice stuff. Koss is around. Davis is like in every live stream I have. Shout out to Davis. Bitfinesse has been around. So Twin Fam. Chad Schwans of House Donner. Love that guy. I love that name.
The Chad of Chads. Welcome, Chad.
And then Jamie Barker. Shout out to Jamie. Talking about Bud Light. So
Bud Light. I don't think I'd be the best.
Oh, we're acknowledging this guy.
Nice. Benny Blanco. Nice. Welcome, Benny.
I miss Furu. Yeah. I wish it was Furu on this interview instead.
Fuck, me too. That's what I was saying. Like, I wish Ben was Furu right now. Sorry, you made it come out, Ben. You made it come out.
Max, you said something. You said you weren't focusing on TikTok anymore. Well, yeah. TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I do YouTube Shorts, but TikTok is just, I don't know. Like, it's I really feel like it's going to get, I don't know. I don't want to say it's going to get banned anytime, but they're not. That whole Congress testify thing didn't help, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting what happens there. I think they have such a viral product though, and I think I want to start like going live on there. I kind of forgot about it, but well, I was going to go live with Furu, but apparently you need 1,000 followers, I guess. So as soon as he gets 1K or you get 1K, whoever, I would totally go live with people on there and try that out. Because I think that'd be cool and it's easy. You get a ton of people. But besides that, it's just work for me. Like I can't schedule stuff. TikTok is meant for like short, ephemeral content. Like you have to put work into doing it. But and you got to do it like at the moment. I like YouTube because I can schedule shorts. I have shorts scheduled at least every week until like August or something. So that means I can do that. That fits my work style better. I can just like spend a couple hours cranking out, doing all the schedules, and then I don't have to touch it anymore. I can go focus on something else. But with TikTok, I have to literally go in there and I have to post the thing, come up with the title. Sure, I could come up with all the titles beforehand, but I still got to like manually do that every time I want to post a clip. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's just not the bang for buck. The ROI is just not there for me. So that's why I don't TikTok as much.
Yeah, I feel that. I find the interface of TikTok to be kind of confusing and a little hard to follow. But so what do you do professionally, and is there any crossover with it in crypto?
Yeah, so I've been working in big tech for over a decade or so and doing security in a bunch of different verticals or different companies and stuff. And I think definitely has crossover with crypto. I think that's one of the biggest contributions. I won't say the biggest contribution, maybe the like promoting RH's ideals is the biggest contribution overall. But I think the security part where I can actually understand how this stuff works and give you nuance of like, yeah, you know, it's easy. It's kind of like Richard talked about this too, about you watch any expert on TV, or if you're an expert in something and you hear people on TV talking about it, like you'll see them on CNBC saying something about, you know, blah, blah, blah. And if you're an expert in that, if it's plumbing, if it's security, if it's hardware, like whatever it is, you're going to be like, whoa, they're totally full of crap. Like they like don't know what they're talking about, or they've dumbed it down so much that it just doesn't make sense to somebody who actually has been there, done that, design systems to work that way, you know, fix the pipes and all that stuff. So I think that's something that you see in every ecosystem. And it's definitely something that a lot of the ideals I try to popularize about, you know, you don't need a VPN, or most people don't need a VPN for what they're using it for. They don't need it at home. Macs have all these security advantages over basically anything has security advantages over running Windows. Mac is just happens to be the next easiest thing to onboard people with. And of course, Linux and stuff. Different things about, you know, like people are scared to go to websites because they think maybe it can automatically steal their money in their wallet, which there's like, it can't automatically do it, but you got to think that the website that's taking you there is probably going to make it so enticing for you to click through the boxes and warnings that they'll probably end up stealing your money anyway. So saying that maybe helps people, but it's not, you know, the 100% the truth either. So anyways, I'm able to popularize some of these ideals that I think that because I've been working in the area so long and I've worked on so many different stuff that I'm able to actually tell people what works. And I wrote about it in the blog. You know, if anyone wants to see all the different security stuff for crypto and non-crypto stuff, you can go to my blog and check all the stuff out. But I'm able to take those ideas and be like, this is actually how it works. Like, I am an expert in this. I know there's other security people in the community, not very many, but there's a few who's maybe actually worked professionally in this or have just, you know, did self-study for a long time when they actually know how it works. But there's so many people that say stuff and at face value, it just doesn't really mean anything, where they're just like off, but they don't even know it themselves. And that's okay. Maybe they still help people, but I think that's one of the biggest things that can contribute is just like, I know how this stuff works. So I can either like what I'm saying. I don't like to be wrong. Another reason why I don't make predictions, because every time I make a prediction, I'm probably going to be wrong. And so it's almost everyone else, especially around PulseChain, blah, blah, blah. So you should probably listen to people who don't like to be wrong, because they're going to, before they say things, they're going to make sure to the best of their ability that they're getting them correct. And they're not saying them for clicks. They're not saying them for, you know, just to get your attention. They're saying them because they probably know at least 90% of it to be true. So that's something I hope I can continue to contribute with, as well as these deep dives. You know, every time the Maximalist guys come out with a new product, I want them on the show. I want to talk to them. I want to go into the details. I want to look at the system and ask them good questions about it so people can understand better about how it works. So yeah, I think security, the technology side, and just the RH's ideals, longevity, survive, how to be the best version of yourself, that type of stuff. are the things that I try to contribute the most. And they kind of relate back to a lot of the professional stuff I do as well.
Cool. Yeah. I do like that about you, your security background. Like you know, you know so much about it. And I agree with you there. I try to only say things that are like I know very sure are true. So I really appreciate that about you. Because there is like a lot of people I think aim to be more entertainers, especially YouTube and like the furers, not for not our boy furu, but the furers out there. I mean, they just say all kinds of crap. That's just so out there. So
well, that's the thing too. I'm not a YouTuber. Like I try my best not to be. I'm not here for the clickbait. I'm not here for the likes, subs. Like all those are cool accolades, but I really want to contribute, and that's why you can see my content is way different than a lot of other channels, like broadly in crypto even, and it's for a purpose because I didn't start doing this to become a YouTuber. I started doing this to get certain ideas and deep dives and stuff out there. So like it's not even part of like my routine to try to like say something outrageous or say something that's not true. Like my whole thing is like I want you to like trust my judgment, and I want to earn that trust. So like you ever know those people who like they would never lie to you, they would never like hurt you, they would never betray you. You know, there's probably like people
give you up, never gonna let me down.
Exactly. Those people like why do they do that? Like why do you think they would never do stuff like that? It's
they're trying to manipulate me into giving them something.
Exactly. It's all a plot. Yes, actually that could be true. But if they're genuinely doing that, that means it's not even part of their like system. It's like not even part of their operating system in order to like try to rip you off, because that's nothing to do with their mission or like what they're trying to do. So that's what I'm trying to relate that to, like how you can figure out how to like trust, or like, you know, if you want the ground truth. I know stories are better than facts a lot of times. That's another thing Richard taught me. But I think you can just tell with a lot of people what their goal is. And if they got a ref link, if they can't stop talking about something, maybe check and see if they have a ref link. That could be one. It may not be the best thing since sliced bread. It may just be because they have a ref link and like they're making money from it. And there's a lot of people who don't have that. And like I said, not hating on anyone who does sponsorships or ref links. I'm just saying, like, if you want to like figure out people's intentions, you know, look at their actions and look at their track record. And I try my best to bring that clean brand from what I value, at least.
Nice. Yeah, you actually are one of my inspirations where I stopped doing clickbait, because I was doing when I actually started out, I wasn't really doing it. And I remember the first time, it's like a slippery slope. It's like it's like the gateway drug. You post one thumbnail and you're like, and the next thing you know, you're posting like the most like ridiculous stuff because it was like, I remember doing it and I felt kind of dirty. I was like, gosh, I look so stupid, but this is going to get more views and it's going to help more people. So I'd be like, then eventually I'm like doing these like stupid faces. And then one of my regular viewers, I don't see him in the live chat, but he might watch the replay. His name is Hex EES. And he was basically like, he commented, he said, Ben, like, you're way too good of a teacher to be having to have like duck lips in your YouTube thumbnail. And I was like, it actually hit me hard. I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, this doesn't really, awesome. This doesn't feel like me. Like I kind of slipped into the like pandering of like, let me just do a, crazy thumbnail. This will get more views. And I think starting out, like I was so eager to get my subscriber count up because it was so low when you start, yeah. Like 1,000 subs was like in my head, like the whole, like, oh, I'll get to 1,000 subs. And then I got there way faster than I thought. And then I kind of like had this like, oh, and then I sat and looked around, had to kind of like reassess everything.
It's extremely easy and tempting to try to take shortcuts. It really is. And they work. They honestly do. Like, yeah, that one person said that, but all the other people, or most of the other people, let's say at least half of them, were okay with it. And he probably onboarded a lot of people doing that. But that's the thing, is like it works. But like, what are you willing to trade off? What are you willing to give up for that? You willing to do duck clips? You willing to like, do all this fancy stuff to do it? Like Richard was. Richard did outrage marketing. He did all the, all the clickbait titles and stuff for a long time. It worked. He grew. I mean, I think he has a different mission than either of us, and all that. Like, there's more complexities going on, but it works. But what are you willing to trade off to get that? And like for me, I'm not willing to do that. I hope you never see me doing clickbait. I hope you never see me doing duck clips. Like it's just not even part of like my even thinking. It's like, no, I don't, it wouldn't even take anyone to say that to me. I would just be like, again, I think it's like the YouTuber thing. I never want to be a YouTuber. I just want to be a creator. I want to be a content creator. So like, if you want to be a YouTuber, you're going to do YouTuber stuff. You're going to see what's working there, and you're going to start doing it because it works, and you want to build a following. And I know exactly how you feel. When I hit 1K too, I was like, oh my God, like that, this is it. I didn't say like that is the goal, but I said like I feel more validated. I feel like people take me more seriously now. And then I hit 2K, and it's like, oh, cool, 2K. And then 3 and 4, I hit 5K recently. I never talk about this stuff because like, right, I don't, and it's not my mission, but it does feel good. You do get that hit of like, oh, people appreciate me so much. They want to listen to me, and they subscribe to the channel, and they leave comments. But you have to, it's like I said, it works. It's tempting, and we all want to take shortcuts. But again, just be honest. I love the way Maxim says it too. It's like, don't lie to yourself. Like whatever you do, you're the easiest person to lie to. You're the easiest person to fool. And if you're going to do it, acknowledge there will be trade-offs. You'll be doing duck lips. People are going to laugh. People are going to love it. People are going to like it. And people are going to send you messages. So whatever you do, acknowledge the trade-offs. And that's, that everyone can have their own brand. You just got to figure out what's good for you.
Yeah, that's well said. That's kind of what I've been figuring out. What is good for me? What works for me? Instead of just thinking like, oh, this is the optimal strategy, must do, like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I got one comment from some guy. He was like, I don't like the clickbait bullshit. Unsubscribed. And I was like, screw this guy. Screw you, man.
It's working, bro. Don't deduct clips me. Don't me too me on duck lips. Like, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Luke Scott says, Max, you don't sell anything, hence why everyone knows you're genuine. Valley brand. Well
Appreciate that. That's very nice. Very nice. People leave some really nice comments sometimes. People leave a lot of dumbass comments, but sometimes somebody will just go out of their way to write me like a whole paragraph of like how well I did or something, or like how much they appreciate the content. I'm like, that's very nice. I always try to reply and thank them and all that. So I do see it. So if I miss your comments sometimes, it's not because I didn't see it. It's because maybe I just have nothing interesting to say, and I try to heart people and stuff with stuff. I got to watch the hearts though, because sometimes, the like, I guess it's like a like or a love button or whatever, because they'll say something sometimes, and I'm like, I may agree with you, but maybe I don't want like everyone to know that I agree with that exactly, or I don't want people to look at it and say that's my advice. Like they'll say, pulsex is going to 100x in 5 days, or in the first week or something, and I want to heart it because I like the attitude, I like the passion and stuff. But also I try to stop myself from hearting them sometimes, because I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm giving, like, I think that's going to happen.
Endorsement.
Yeah. Like I don't want it to be an endorsement. I don't ever want to do anything near financial advice. And I know that phrase is so like overused, and it's so, oh, everyone just says it, whatever. I literally don't want to be responsible for anyone making decisions based on the things I say with their money. If you make $1 million from it, I don't want to be responsible. If you lose $1 million, I don't want to be responsible. I want everyone to do their own thing. That's why I'm like so careful. I try to be very careful with my language, and I don't like predictions for that either. I don't want to make a prediction and then people will go like there's some people probably watching the stream, watching different crypto streams. They got 50K and they're just like, I'm just waiting on the right person to say the right word. I'm going all in on it. I don't want to be, I don't want to be part of that. I'm not trying to be part of that. I'm not trying to be a part of your success or your failure as far as like directly what to bet on. Like, you know my picks if you watch my content. You know what I like in the ecosystem, and you know which one I think is going to win. So I just, a lot of people don't care, but I try to be careful around that.
Yeah. I only ever talk about that stuff on Furu Finance's channel, because he's always asking those types of questions. Then he's like, "Oh,
He
Ben,"
does
and
love
then people in the
predictions.
chat are like, "Ben DuBard doesn't say anything. He's so boring." And I'm like, I'm always like, I don't know. And I get people in the
Ben, do the
comments,
duck lips again. You're boring. Do the duck lips.
yeah, they're like, I don't know. That's all this guy says.
Somebody left a comment today. It was I posted a DCT clip, and I don't post. I mean, I feel like I try to post good clips in general, but especially if it's a DCT clip. I mean, the guy's been around forever. When he talks about something, I try to listen to it, you know? So I posted a clip and somebody wrote a comment. And it was like, so the answer is he doesn't know. And I'm just like, do you know? Here's my thing on the chat. I wonder, part of me wanted to write back. Do you know? Can you explain to me like this concept? Do you know the future? How can you do better? The chat is, or the comments are interesting sometimes where, hopefully I would never say anything like that back. I would just either ignore it or remove it or whatever. But it's just, it's funny to see people who it's so easy. You create this content, you clip it, and you make these answers, and you try to give people some kind of nuance around whatever the discussion is. And then people are just like, oh, he didn't give me the answer of when to go all in. So I'm going to let him know that I'm going to give him this constructive criticism. Like, it's just funny to read comments sometimes. I guess that's the point.
Yeah. What you said earlier, like there's some guy just waiting to hear the right word to like go all in. It is. I always think back to when I was like, I don't know, really impressionable listening to people. And I remember watching like BitBoy Crypto, and he would be like, Cardano to $10. And it's like, I knew that was impossible, but I was also like, but he's just said that, he's putting his reputation, like he's a big guy and he just said that. So like that could have happened. So it's like, even, it's like
$10,000 here. Cardano. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You're like, no, it's stupid. It's impossible. But like, even just hearing, because you're like, this guy's on the screen, like there's something like psychologically, like subconsciously, I feel like where you still like your wheels get like turning a little bit, and even though you think it's stupid, it's like it leads you to make like a bad decision. So I agree with you. Like I try to, I don't know, I'm just always thinking about that because like I really don't want to like put harm out there, and that's what sucks about when, I don't know, friends or family, I guess you're like, oh, I'm in crypto. I feel like everyone thinks you're like out to like scam people or out to like, you're like, oh yeah, we know what you're about. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me like being like overthinking, but it kind of feels like that some way. Like I think people don't.
Everyone thinks crypto is like this lottery ticket. They think it's just like this thing that it's what I had a tweet the other day. It was like, if you treat crypto like a lottery ticket, it will be a lottery ticket. You'll win a little bit, you'll lose most of the time, and you'll quit pretty easily. But if you treat it like an investment and you take it seriously and you do the work and find the right ecosystem, it will be an investment that's the highest appreciating asset class of all time, greatest hits from RH. So it's just one of those things. People, they see FTX. I mean, they see the down 85, 90% Bitcoin, and what else are they supposed to think? Like, it's not like we're giving them this like solid product that never fails. It is this thing that it takes a lot of mental energy and like right situation and unpsyoping yourself to figure out this is the way you can achieve your dreams. Like, this is the way to buy your future, own your own time. Like, this is the way to do it. But a lot of people just they're never going to get it, and they're going to be buying Hex and Bitcoin at the 10,000x price and hoping for a 2x, and just like they do stocks, right? Like, everyone laughed at Apple, everyone laughed at Microsoft. Oh, look at that joke. Oh, look at the computer stuff. It's never going to go anywhere. And then they're buying it in their 401k, 40 years later. So it's just that's the tragedy. I was talking to somebody about this, I forget who, but like, that's the tragedy. Like, you can't even, people you care about, most of them probably going to think, it's a scam, or you're just going to lose your money. It's a lottery ticket, and you can't save them. You can't help them. You can't just force it into them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So you just got to take care of yourself first. And after you're successful and you're a billionaire, maybe they'll start buying the bags, but it's just hard to help people sometimes.
Yeah. That was a hard thing for me, I think. That's one reason I got into like trying to help people in crypto was people I loved, no one, like, they wouldn't listen to me. They just didn't care. So I was like, well, let me find the people that do care, So that's just a good tip for people, I think. When we were thinking about earlier, you were talking about things you didn't expect getting into content creation. I agree with you on. I've found it so valuable to have one-on-one talks with you and Maddie Allen, and I'm like, wow, this guy I used to watch all the time, Maddie Allen, on Quant Gang and his hex therapy. I used to watch him so much. I'm like, it's so different when I'm actually talking to him. It's his message is like way more powerful. So I feel like affected way more talking to people one on one, because you're watching the stream and it's cool, but actually being in the conversation is like so different, and it gives me this respect for people like big podcasters. Like I get like Joe Rogan. You said like it's like wow, like actually talking one on one with that person has to be like even more profound, have an even more profound effect on like your brain and like how you're taking it. Like
Definitely.
that was one of the cool hidden features. It's like, wow, I could get one-on-one time with this guy. Like if I wasn't making content and didn't have, I'm at 1,500 YouTube subs. If I didn't have that giant number of YouTube subs and all this clout, I couldn't, get that one-on-one time. And your one-on-one time also is helping people too, because you might ask a question or get to a subject that someone else is like struggling with, and then is then like, oh wow, like so cool. So like Richard Hart says, you're doing a disservice to the world by not speaking up if you are not like, an idiot. And if you don't know if you're an idiot, well, the way to find out is by speaking up, and then you'll probably find out eventually. Otherwise, if you're not speaking out, you could just be like a total idiot. And that's a humbling thing too, is I think for me as well, as I talk and interact more, I realize how much I don't know. And ultimately that's going to benefit me in the long run. Otherwise, you just don't know what you don't know, and you're just kind of like, well, I think I know this, that, and the other. So there's so many positives to speaking up, even though, yeah, there's the negatives too. Like, I guess security, OPSEC. But my general thinking is like, I don't know. Like I'm just like, if someone really wanted to track me down or whatever, like whether I'm like have 1,000 subscribers or 2,000. I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I feel like, it would just happen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think what I try to do is just before I talk about something, you can't be prepared for, especially when you got live chat, people are going to ask all kinds of different questions. You can't be prepared for everything. You're going to feel stupid. You got to expect to feel stupid sometimes. You can't expect everything to go perfectly. But before I talk about something, I try to prep, I try to research. If I don't know about it, like I'll try to like say, hey, I either don't know about this part, or what's super useful is to get someone on who does. I interview people who are way smarter than me in a lot of different areas in crypto, and I can if I just ask the right questions, we can create beautiful content. So that's like what I try to do. If I'm not an expert, I get an expert on, and then I just try to not ask them dumb questions, and then you can learn. You now you have clips to create more content with. Other people can learn from there who are wondering the same thing, and it's like a win-win.
Cool. So
speaking of questions, oh yeah, go ahead.
So
I was going to say it in the chat
from Chris. Is that the one you're looking at?
Yep, exactly.
I think it'd be a cool one to hear your perspective on.
Yeah, so Chris says, when PulseChain launches, many believe EHex will plummet, then recover. Do you follow this logic? If so, for how long? Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about EHex and PX and the launch lately. I really have. And there's a lot of different theories of things people believe are going to happen. I would say, again, try not to financial advice or predictions or anything, but I think many people, if you look at historically, when things launch, just around PulseChain, there's a launch, there's some kind of price action that happens, and then there's a dump, and then there's accumulation, and then, it goes from there. So that's the PulseChain side of one thing that could happen. For the Hex side, if you have people, if there's a reason for people to ape into a coin and buy a lot of it, that's not natural, that's not natural things to happen. That's like an event happened and a bunch of people bought it. So if a bunch of people buy Hex and it goes up to 20 cents before PulseChain launch, just example, then what reason should it stay at 20 cents? Unless the market decides to, and it's just like, hey, this is the new price. We've been waiting forever to get to it, whatever. But that kind of move, those kind of 50 to 70% moves up, they aren't, like, most of the time, they're not sustainable unless some other crazy fundamental thing happens and market's just like, yeah, this is the price now. So you could see, like, one example is Hex, goes up and stays that way. Or as you mentioned here, people will buy it to get their PX copy, and then it could plummet. And then you could, there's other opportunities you can take advantage of, or you can try to sell it before then, or you can try to buy it on the dump and all that stuff. There'll be a lot of people playing different strategies and techniques on this. So will it plummet? I mean, again, I don't want to comment on like what it'll actually do, but I'm saying there's a lot of different, even if it does plummet, if you're going to trade that, if you're going to make that trade, if you're going to buy a bunch of Hex beforehand, you have options. You can test your waters at time in the market and try to sell it before it goes back down, or you can just be like, I'm not going to play this PX. I'll get it for my stakes or whatever. I think the bridge will be interesting because everyone's trying to trade. I mean, the general consensus is a lot of people want to trade PX for Pulse because they miss Pulse sacrifice. They'll do anything to get it. If everyone keeps doing that, then like, what's the ratio going to be? It's not going to be very favorable at some point if everyone keeps doing it. So I don't think these things are, it's not just, there's not like one right answer. There's not one thing that will probably happen. There's a lot of different things that can happen based on the market dynamics at the moment. What if we launch and it's the most spectacular thing ever? Everything goes great. We onboard a ton of more people. Everyone from Ethereum comes in. The projects are here. Like, what if that happens? Or what if it doesn't? So that makes everything change as well. So a lot of different things that can happen. I'm not sure EHex will plummet, but you could certainly make a case for it.
So basically, you don't know.
Basically, what you're saying is you don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. And I'll say this too. Nobody knows. So yes, that's true. I don't think anyone knows. I think the best thing we can do is look at the different things that could happen and which ones are more likely, and then prepare ourselves to take advantage of the ones that we think are likely. That's what I'm doing, for example.
Nice. So yeah, I guess this is a good time to show the thing you sent me.
I sent you a thing.
This thing.
All right. You want to, just in case there's something on the bottom, you want to take the comment off?
Oops. Yes. All right.
Cool. Oh yeah, it wasn't actually showing, but cool. So I talked about on a few different times, I've talked about there being different ways, different indicators for PulseChain launch. So this is one of them. This is the certificate transparency stuff that I've talked about before on streams and clips. Just type in RHMax, 4 indicators, PulseChain launch. This one in particular, I haven't shared publicly yet. This is, we did it live. This is a screenshot of me tracking the different DNS records and certificates, essentially. So when websites you're getting ready to deploy something and you create certificates that's where you get HTTPS. That's a certificate that belongs to a website or different websites, and your browser talks to it and all that stuff. So one of the signs of new stuff coming or launching, for example, is these different certificates being issued. So you can see pre-certificate there. You can see the date to when it was issued and when it expires. So they usually expire over about a year or so. And you can see tokens.pulseramp.com, which looks like a JSON endpoint for PulseRamp stuff. And then you got Checkpoint, testnet v4. You got the WebSocket v4 testnet stuff. Anyways, long story short, scan, Beacon Chain Explorer, all that stuff. This means, so you can see the date and you can see the different subdomains there. This essentially means that the certificates they're in the process of registering certificates and getting the websites ready for v4 to launch. This doesn't indicate when it's going to launch. It just says, I will say that I saw that maybe a day or two a day or so before the V3 launched, I saw they had registered certificates for this. But these are, even now, these are like 1, 2, 3 days old. This one's a little bit sooner. This is the pulsex one. So this is just April 16th. Today's the 17th. The question is when V4, based on this information and based on when V3 came out, I think it's pretty close. I kind of thought it may happen today. I didn't really talk about it, but I thought it may happen today. And now maybe it'll happen. I would think this week. I try not to make predictions, but if things happened like they did with V3, I think we're days away from V4. Hopefully we don't have any critical issues or anything like that. But this is one of the indicators you can see that I've been tracking. And if you just type in Google for certificate transparency logs, you can understand how this stuff works more. But this is one service I've subscribed to that gives me alerts and gives me a dashboard view of seeing new websites that may be coming live soon, or at least when they get registered with the certificates. So that's one of the indicators. You can see when the next testnet's launching and when mainnet's launching. It could be an indicator for that as well. I'm definitely going to be I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it for the next month or two. See if I can get ahead of any launches like that.
Cool. All right. Well, so Chris says he's not trading at all. He's fully staked. He's onboarded about 30 people and wants to calm their anxiety. So that's cool. Shout out to you, Chris. Luke Scott says he thinks most people aren't factoring in Richard Heart's followings. For example, since the V2 launch, RH has gained 173K plus followers on Twitter. It's a lot of eyes watching the projects. It's a good point as well. And then the final question, and then I think RHMax, you got to hop off. Do you think RH is releasing a wallet? So if you have any thoughts on what Luke said and what Nick Green said.
Releasing a wallet. He's talked about it before. I don't think it's a priority. So I wouldn't think it's going to launch anytime soon. I think definitely PulseChain is going to launch before a wallet does, or maybe they'd be in parallel. But I think that, I wouldn't expect a wallet anytime soon. I think RH is completely focused. He's in a launch mode. He is like completely focused on launching ASAP. So that's what I think he's focused on. Afterwards, I feel like he's been talking about wallet for a while, and it's not one of those things where, you talked about buying exchange and stuff for a while too. But we haven't seen anything on that, which who knows, that maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. We like Dexus now instead of centralized exchanges, but hey, the on-ramp opportunities, all that stuff. I would be surprised if we get a wallet anytime soon. I think that can definitely come later. Just like if there's a V3 Uniswap or Pancake Swap, technically V2 to V3 upgrade, you could sell it as an upgrade, even though RH has talked about liking V2, being bullish on it for certain reasons and stuff. But I think he will release a wallet. I could see that, and I hope it's got some cool fundamentals on it. But I don't think it'll be before launch. I wouldn't think, but maybe it will be.
Cool. And then if you have time for, unless you have any thoughts on this.
Let's see. I think most people aren't factoring in RH followings V2 launch. I guess the response to RH gaining a lot of followers. Yeah, he's definitely been gaining a lot. I had a tweet where he went from like 3 in like a year or two. He went from like just a few thousand followers to like 150 some, and then a year or two later, it was like 300K now. I think it's definitely steadily growing, and I mean, I could see in a couple of years maybe as 1 million. Like, I think it'll take maybe 18 months or so. 18 months out from 1 million followers on Twitter and or YouTube. If he gets 1 million followers, I think this Moon Review is going to be a documentary instead of an interview.
Nice. So I've like 3 more quick fire questions, because this is the Moon Review, and I always ask this type of question to people.
My body's ready. Let's do it.
What are your hobbies? Outside of this, obviously.
Yeah. I like traveling. It's been hard to do the last few years for obvious reasons, but I like traveling. I like exercise in some way, shape, or form, whether it's sports or whether it's running. I try to take a run every day. If I'm not running, like I'm doing some substitute for running. Even when it's like raining and stuff, actually, it makes me feel more primitive. It makes me feel like more connection with nature when it's raining and it's just like pouring or soaking wet. It's actually pretty fun. What other hobbies? I mean, I do create some music every once in a while. I've been doing that a little bit more. Actually, me and Westcott have been talking about something, so that may be cryptographics as well. So that's a little sneak peek. Maybe something might come of that.
Together. Okay.
Yeah, we might have a trio deal, something like that coming up. It'll be fun. I finished some lyrics already, and Westcott's he said he's working on the instrumental right now, so we'll see. Miami might get real fun. It might get real fun on the musical side too.
Did you see my Wagon Wheel cover of I sang a Hex song for Wagon Wheel?
I don't think I've seen that. Man. Yeah, send it to me.
I did it live with Westcott.
Oh, dude,
I played my guitar
awesome.
and sang it for him, but my mic was kind of weird, so I think you couldn't hear the guitar that well. So I don't know. I might have to re-record it or something.
Dude, send it to me. I want to see it. But by the way, SJ says win collab RHMax. I actually, so you did the collab with Westcott. We might have to do. I think we need to get him involved because he's the actual musician. I can write lyrics and do some vocals, but I'm not a producer or anything. But that would be cool to do some more music. I know SJ is super talented, and she's into that too. So I don't know when you guys are coming to locally and stuff. Maybe we could do some artsy stuff like that too. That could be fun. Got your backup vocals. You might be lead vocals. I think maybe I'll be in the background. I don't know. Westcott wants to be Timberland, so maybe I'll be a JT. I just talked about it, and no one's gonna look it up anyways. But we'll see.
So what kind of music do you listen to? Just all kinds, or I get the vibe you like all kinds of music.
Dude, whatever Westcott does a parody of, I like all the songs he does. Like he's all over the place too with oldies and rap and pop. I mean all the old school, not the new pop, but like the old school, the 2000s pop and stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm down with.
Nice.
I think Justin Timberlake's one of the most talented men in the world. Like Childish Gambino, another guy, extremely talented, makes beautiful music, and he's an actor and all this stuff too. I kind of a mix. Like I like a lot of different styles. Like whatever is good. I feel like I have an ear for like good music. I know that's extremely subjective and doesn't make a lot of sense, but I love vocals. I mean, I love lyrics because I'm a little bit of a lyricist. I love writing, and I like writing lyrics too, and I like rhyming and like figuring out how to make things hit on certain beats. So any song that has good lyrics, oh my god, like who was it in our community? I'm trying to think. I did a stream with him the other day, him and Scott Foster Harris, who's extremely talented. Corey an investor. Corey, I first met Corey in Vegas last year at PulseCon, and he went on stage and he did a song, and afterwards I was like, dude, like your lyrics are like amazing, like super good. So I'm a nerd for lyrics. If you have like really cool, funny, like just nice lyrics, and you can put it to a beat and you can rap with it, dude, you won me over. Like that's so cool.
Nice. So do you like Bo Burnham?
Yes, I love Bo Burnham. Dude, I've been watching stuff remember when he was doing what was it? Man, he did all kinds of funny songs back, maybe it's been like 10 years ago or so. His early stuff. I haven't heard his like new stuff, but his early stuff, I was like crazy into it. Super funny.
I thought of nerdy, clever, can sing to a beat. I thought of him.
He's got that face, that funny face he makes too. Like, yeah. Bo Burnham's awesome.
His Netflix special Inside was pretty good, I thought. It's kind of kind of trippy, but it's pretty cool. Some of the songs are pretty funny. But that leads me to what kind of TV shows or movies or whatever you've been watching.
I'm kind of all over the place with that too. I like comedies, but they just don't make good comedies anymore. I like definitely the 2000s and the 2010s comedies were some of the last greatest ones. Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell, Seth Rogen, all those guys. I've watched a ton of those movies that no one's ever saw that they made that are just amazing and hilarious.
Nice.
So
like Knocked Up and like 40-Year-Old Virgin, like all those.
So the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, hilarious. Observe and Report, the Seth Rogen movie no one's ever seen, which is just amazing. This is the End with James Franco. And, I mean, you got the stream, you can rewind it and figure them out. Like, and I think I have a list. I think I wrote down like all my favorite stuff on a doc somewhere. If you're interested, I can totally share it.
Nice.
This is the End. I look like all those. I don't know, like Pineapple Express, all the bro comedies and stuff that are just amazing jokes, and just that. If I was going to write a movie, it would be something like that. That's like my writing style, the whole Judd Apatow type style of stuff. So, right, Other Guys is hilarious. Other Guys there's so many underrated movies that people just haven't seen. And Observe and Report, it came out around the same time that Paul Blart Mall Cop came out. So it's a Mall Cop movie, but it's with Seth Rogen. Paul Blart Mall Cop got all the views. It got, it hit the box office. Everybody loved it, blah, blah, blah. Nobody watched Observe and Report. It's one of the most underrated comedies, and like hilarious, kind of a dark comedy too, I've ever seen. So I recommend it if you're interested in that type of stuff.
There's one, you've probably seen it. It was like Seth Rogen and his friend has cancer. It's the guy from Batman.
50-50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that's another one most people haven't seen either. Yeah, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's awesome. The Night Before, the best Christmas comedy movie I've ever seen in my life. The Night Before with Seth Rogen.
Chevy Chase.
Well, I mean, yeah, Christmas Vacation. Nothing's gonna dethrone that one. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like for a modern comedy, The Night Before, amazing. Nice. Napoleon Dynamite, I see in the chat, is also awesome. Luke Smith, keep it under wraps, okay? Keep it under wraps. You keep that under wraps, okay?
We got a leak. Someone leaked the track.
You keep that under wraps because you're very, very you're too close. You're too close to the music right now. Yes. So
I think you'll like. Do you have time or do you need to bounce?
I got like 5 minutes. If you got something.
All right.
Oh yeah, we're gonna play some video, weren't we? Or are you gonna do something else?
Well, I'm gonna show you my lyrics to Wagon Wheel. I think you'll like it. So I wrote this like a year ago. I think I was drunk one night and like wrote it in my notepads on my phone. I was like, yeah, this is just like, and then I forgot about it. And then Westcott Crypto reminded me of it. And I knew I was having them on my stream, and I was searching everywhere for it. I couldn't remember if I had it in my phone or like where. And I finally found it. I was like, yes. All right, so let me share my screen.
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of it. I had to change steak to mine, though. I think it sounded better with steak. You can see this. Zoom in here.
Did you put the music to the? Oh, you put it to the chord.
No, yeah, I got it from that website, whatever it's called, and then I just put it into the Google Docs. So when I was singing, I didn't have to because I didn't memorize the chords. So I'm a very basic guitar player. Got my G's and my C's.
How does it? So what is the song again? Wagon Wheel.
Yeah, it's like getting into crypto to get mad gains, downloading MetaMask to get off the centralized exchange, writing down my seed phrase, pray to God I don't get hacked. And then it goes, nice. So mine that hex for the 555. Mine that hex for the rest of your life. Hey, mine your hex.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta hear the music. I could probably I could sing with you too, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like this second verse the most. It says, I used to gamble shit coins. I'm mine and chill now. But yeah, taking it away now.
Respect for lyrics, man. Respect for lyrics. People, it's not, a lot of it comes natural to me because I've written so many songs in my life before. But it's not easy, especially if you haven't, like sitting down and like trying to get stuff to rhyme, hitting a certain way and get a message through. Like it's not easy to write these type of lyrics. So yeah, hats off to you, man. That's awesome.
It was I locked myself in my room, 5 hours, only candlelight.
Only you and Jack Daniels, and you got it done.
Yeah, my Jack Daniels.
Yeah. But my face is really red right now. It's because the pull. I'm super dried out right now because I did not get cleaned up. I was at the gym and the pull, at the gym. So I just realized like, man, my face is red.
So I guess the last question I had was, how do you disconnect from the crypto world and relax?
I
Working
think
out,
traveling.
traveling.
Well, okay, so there's two different approaches to this. There's the short-term one, which is just like go outside, if you want a few hour break. So that's what I do the most, I say, is like go outside, go work on something, go build something, go hiking, just go to the gym, something to just completely remove yourself from thinking about crypto and computer stuff or whatever. And then for like an extended version of that, it's just traveling, like going somewhere new. You can do a thing where, I did it where, okay, I leave the phone in my car or, lock somewhere and I don't touch it for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, just to get a mini detox going on, just to like focus on reading, because you want to imagine how much you'll start reading and like not looking at screens if you get rid of them. At least for me, it's like natural. I'm like naturally start reading stuff. I naturally start, going outside more, just finding something else to do rather than to like get that dopamine hit and see who liked my post on Twitter and blah, blah, blah. Or see, oh my gosh, this thing happened. I got to go talk about it now. So I think traveling, get in a different environment and put your devices away and stuff to remove any temptation to talk or do things like that. Or if you just want a few hours during the day or an hour or something, just literally go outside and don't take your phone. Don't take anything. Just go outside, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a jog, go somewhere that doesn't require you to look at anything or think about anything, and just do something completely different than what you would be doing if you were at a computer. And for me, that helps me relax.
That's awesome. You reminded me, I used to do that a lot. Like I'd go hiking and I'd leave my phone behind. And so yeah,
Then you
just
got
reminded
mauled
me.
by that bear and you're like, I'm going to take a gun and a phone next time.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been doing that, so I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow, maybe on a hike. Just leave my phone.
Do it, man.
It is really nice, and it's like it's literally designed. They designed the phone and all the apps. They literally programming you to stare at it, so it's like hard when you have it to put it down sometimes. Even if you're thinking, oh, don't do it, you just naturally like pick it up.
That's key, man. If you don't have it, you can't do it. Like if you want to lose weight, go to your cupboard, take out all the food that you don't want to eat and throw it away. Don't think twice about it. Get it out of your way, get it out of your sight. Same thing with your phone. Go lock it up somewhere, go leave it behind in a safe place, obviously. And if it's not there, you can't touch it. So it's like so simple, but you just have to take these steps. You have to be deliberate. If you want to change a habit or take a break, you have to be deliberate on how you do it. And that's just as simple as not taking it with you.
So everyone, don't look at your phone or screen unless DuBard or RHMax is live streaming. And then it's really crucial and important that you do look at your screen.
If you want to. I mean, I understand if you don't.
No, it's mandatory.
If you're taking a break, I don't want to interrupt your mental health deal. Please don't click on my notification if I am interrupting you. But if you do have time set aside to go learn something, or if you're curious about a topic I'm talking about or Ben, feel free to participate in the chat, like, subscribe, and smash all those buttons to oblivion.
You're really going to upset me if you put your screen down and aren't watching me.
they turn it on, but they had the phone turned face down, so they can't watch you.
Hey, that's
it's for the
right
algos.
There. Yeah. But all right, I think with that, we'll put an end to the moon review. Thank you, RHMax.
Of course, man.
Oh, Billy Mac, that's a good suggestion right here. Put a hex landing pad on the moon.
Oh yeah, good.
I have to look into that.
Could put a little like raccoon on a rocket or something back there too. You could do a lot of things. I kind of I like abstract art, so I like just clean moon for me. That's what I would do. But yeah, you could definitely change it up if you want.
You know what's messed up is I can't figure out how to get both of mine and my guest moons lined up correctly. After I had Matty Allen on, I said, hey, what do you think I could do better? And the only thing he said was, yeah, get the moons aligned. And so I thought I'd fixed it. It's the same image we're using and it fits. So I don't know. Maybe I need to
I think if you started doing duck lips again, they would line up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a mystery. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Because it's not a camera thing, because it shouldn't be a camera thing because it's the image. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe if I don't know.
Push the moon down, Ben. Push it down.
But yeah. But anyway, thanks for coming on, and thank you everyone in the chat for being here. Thank you anyone watching the replay. If you enjoyed it, share the stream out, and don't be afraid to clip any parts and share it on Twitter or something, or if you liked something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like something, you know, tweet it out. Don't be shy. And anything you want to say? Any final thoughts, RHMax?
Sci-Vibe and 5555, everyone.
Rock and roll. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you again, everyone. Go. All of RHMax's links are in the description, and his blog has like a ton of really good info. I didn't even know like he had a blog with all this great info until he showed it to me, I think like a few weeks ago. So something to go look into for sure.
Okay.
And it's all for free. So
all for free.
All right.
Do not monetize here. In my channel, at least.
Everyone says awesome stream. We did it. All righty. Peace.
Appreciate you all.